You might be asking yourself, what are some good apps in order for me to learn belly dancing or to actually teach belly dancing? So I wanted to go over a couple with you that I have personally found very helpful in either learning or teaching my students. The first one I wanted to talk about is AnyTune. This application on your phone, and I believe it's only for iOS, allows you to slow down a piece of music that's on your playlist without losing the quality. I think this is fantastic for when you're teaching or learning, because when you're trying to teach your students and you need to take your time to go through a combination, but still actually run it through in timing while listening to the music, I think it's a great application to use so that way people still get that feeling, and then you can slowly build your way back into the original tempo. I think it's fantastic. If you search in your app store for slowing music down applications or music applications, you should be able to find one that works for iOS or for Android. So if you're not interested in AnyTune, I would highly recommend getting one of these apps that slows the music down without losing the quality. The next one I want to talk about is a Metronome app. I personally use this one right here, and I really like it because if you are practicing something, let's say like zills, you can match the pace of the way you're playing with the metronome, and you can see how many beats per minute you're at. When you find out that information, you have a baseline. You can slowly work your way up into faster tempos. This is particularly helpful when you are starting slow, but you don't know how fast to actually bring up your tempo and still stay on beat, which can be challenging when you're just starting to learn dance or rock sharky in general. So I really recommend getting one because it helps keep the even spacing of your movement going along, as well as it gently challenges you to bring your movement to a faster pace, or even doing it the other way, going to a slower pace. So if you're drilling something that you typically drill faster, bringing your tempo down can really, really up your game in technique, because typically it's harder to do the movement slower than it is to do it faster. And I say it like that because sometimes you really have to suspend the movement as you continue the energy. So in order to help yourself keep time with that, using a metronome app can really help. Spotify. It's fantastic. You can get on there for free. You don't have to pay. You can upgrade your membership or your trial or whatnot to pay for a monthly subscription. So that way you don't get the ads and whatnot, and it offers you more options. But honestly, if you're listening to music and you just need to practice listening to music, hearing the language, hearing different pop songs, seeing what's popular and whatnot, and listening to playlists that you just love in general, Spotify is a great resource, because it allows you so many different resources and sources into one area. So I find it particularly helpful, especially if you feel like you keep listening to the same songs on your playlist over and over, and you're like, you know what, I just want to improv to something that I haven't heard before. This is really great for that. And so as a student, I love using anything that can make my job practicing a lot easier. And sometimes you don't want to think about the playlist. You just want to put it on and you want to drill, or you want to improv, or do whatever you're up to. So I highly recommend Spotify. If you love learning rhythms, which you should be learning rhythms anyway, because this is part of us being dancers, then you're gonna like the app Darbuka Rhythms. This is by Artem Uzanov, and you can download it, on Android or on iOS, and it allows you to identify the rhythms as well as quiz yourself on if you know the rhythms. And there's quite a bit of rhythms on there, which is awesome. So if you're trying to make sure that you understand more of the music theory behind our belly dancing, and it's really good to have an app to kind of help you listen to the music in that way that you can test yourself, as well as just practice how would you locate the dooms and the techs within 4 counts, within 6 counts, within 12 counts, 10 counts, all that stuff. So it's really important for us to know that information. So Darbuka Rhythms is a great way to support a musician in our community, as well as get the practice in that you need. This is going to seem a little bit weird, but it's not an application on your phone. It's more of an application on your computer. I'm a huge fan of QuickTime for multiple reasons. One of the reasons I'm a huge fan of QuickTime is because if you need to quickly send a video to your students of yourself, what you can do is you can video yourself through QuickTime and then go ahead and send it over to them. It's fantastic in that way, and I love it. So if for some reason you can't get your phone to transfer the file over to your computer, or it's too big or whatnot, you're just having issues and you just need to send it from your computer, that's a great way to do it. Another thing is when you're giving your students feedback, I personally do this, when you're giving your students feedback, especially when it's a video feedback, what I love to do is I like to play their video while I'm screen recording. I'll play their video and then I'll screen record. And what it does is it not only catches the sound through the video as long as your mic and your settings are on properly, but it also catches your voice. So what that means is in real time, as I watch their video, I can give them feedback. This moment right here, can you make it a little bit more drawn out? That moment right there, oh my gosh, so beautiful, right? So even though you can write everything down and you can timestamp it, it's really helpful to be able to screen record yourself talking with the video so that way they know exactly the moment of which your feedback applies to. And I can't tell you how helpful that is as a teacher as well as a student. It just eliminates a lot of miscommunication about what you wanted to get across to your students. So while you are able to talk over their video like you're recording them live, right? Like you have the video right here and they're dancing and you're like, okay, right? So I think it's fantastic for that very reason. Alone, like that alone, you should get that app. Another reason that I like QuickTime is if you need to take whatever is on your phone and transfer it to the computer, like a second screen, you can do that. All you need to do is you have to go to new movie recording. You connect your phone, new movie recording, and then you choose your phone as the camera that's being shown, and it actually reflects whatever's on your camera onto your screen. This is really helpful if you are in a class or you're doing Zoom and you can't see what's going on because your screen is too small or whatnot. You can transfer that to your phone in real time. There's going to be a delay, of course, but you can see it bigger, which if you don't have like a separate television screen or a separate computer monitor, then this makes it super helpful for you to see your teacher or your students much larger. It's a way to get around of like, well, I can't load Zoom on my computer because a lot of us have this problem. Because the camera on the phone is better, right? And so you're just like, great. So you kind of like default to the one with the better camera, but then what it may leave you with is a smaller screen to look at, which can be challenging when you're learning or you're teaching, especially if you're teaching. So connect to QuickTime, new movie recording, click on the setting next to the record button. It has the option for you to drop down and choose your phone, and then it'll reflect over. Side note, one of the things I use this for actually is when I'm on an app, a fitness app, and what I do is I just plug it in like that, and I can't see all the videos and the workouts that they say to do on my phone. But once I put it onto my computer screen, I'm like, oh, it's so big. And so then I'm able to see it much easier and follow along. Because the last thing you want to do is your phone is over here, right? But you need space to either dance or work out. And you're like, wait, what? Okay. Wait, what? How many of us do that, right? You run up and you're like, what? Oh, no. Okay. What? Oh, okay. So this is a great kind of workaround to that. So just keep that in mind so that way you're not always having to squint at your phone. Okay, so I personally use this one. I'm using it right now. It's called ProMovie. You do have to pay for it if you don't want the emblem on your video and stuff, which is important if you don't want it watermarked by their brand, but it's like a couple bucks or whatnot. So ProMovie is awesome because you film within the app and it produces 4K videos, which is really important if you're doing pre-recorded classes, if you're shooting videos for YouTube, all that stuff. So if you're wondering how I shoot my videos, I use that app and it's great. And you can do an external microphone and record straight into the app, and then it exports as a 4K video. The other thing that's really cool is it has like a leveling system, so you can tell if your thing is straight, and it has like the border, and you can increase the exposure and whatnot. So it's really, really customizable. And honestly, it's simple enough to use that if you're like, well, I only need it once a week or a couple times a week, but I don't need something crazy robust, it's a really good app and it's very simple. So the fact that I can use an external microphone and then I can change exposure level and then I can, level out my camera and all that stuff. You don't have to use 4K. You can use like 1080p or whatnot. It's totally fine. But I just like it because my phone is not 4K, but because of this app, I can make my video 4K. So super helpful for those of you who need to record high quality videos. Okay, so you're learning a class, you're teaching a class, whatever your video is for, you need to edit your video. But you're like, man, I don't want to go to my computer in order to edit my video. Don't worry, I got you. So there's two apps out there. Video Shop, there's multiple apps out there. These are the two that I've come across and one that I personally use, in addition to like iMovie if I need some other stuff, but because I have a Mac and an iPhone. So the first one is called Video Shop, and it's really easy to use. It's customizable enough for your videos and to edit. So you can do the transitions, you can trim your videos, you can do certain filters, you can export it into like 15-second chunks, 20-second chunks for your Instagram and Facebook stories. You can change the formatting so it's a square or it's a 9:16, whatever you need, on that like really nice simplistic level. You can also add your music into it, which is really nice, and then you can trim that also, and there's a couple of features to make that a little bit more customizable. So I really like Video Shop because it's easy to use. I can do all my video editing on my phone. I don't have to do it onto my computer, although occasionally sometimes I do. But you don't have to. And then it exports out. And the thing that I really like about this too is that I can export straight to my camera roll. So then it's not some random file that I have to now convert to a different file format in order to get it off my computer or upload it somewhere else. Because sometimes if you have like M4V or MOV, some of that stuff gets wonky if you don't have your system set up or your process is a little bit different. So it can get in the way. But I like that it exports straight to my camera roll. So then it's like I shot the video on my camera. So how it would normally export is just how it exports. So you can also export to Facebook and Instagram and Vimeo and whatnot. You can also get this off your app store. And for this one, I don't remember if it's free or not. So you'll have to check because, sometimes apps are free and then sometimes you have to pay. Who knows? But Video Shop is the name of that one. The other one that is really good, and this one I believe costs $30, and I'm not sure, so don't freak out. $30 is not a lot of money in the editing world at all. Okay, so, but I haven't tried this one personally, but I've seen a lot of great reviews for it. I just haven't needed it yet because I have Video Shop. But Luma Fusion is the other one. And that one is way more detailed, way more robust, way more options. So if you're like, nah, I need like simplicity and I just need it to edit and like trim and transition and then come to a close, Video Shop may be your option. The other thing though with Luma Fusion is you can really create some awesome graphics, some transitions, overlays, all that stuff. So you're looking for something more robust and a little bit maybe more impressive to people with the complexity of the design. maybe Luma Fusion is the way to go. I have not personally tried it, so I can't fully endorse it, but I'm not getting paid for any of these, by the way. I'm just telling you what I use. But you can try that one out, like it's on my hand. You can try that one out right here. You can try that one out, and it's got great reviews and all that stuff. One thing I did ask them when I was asking the developers, I was like, hey, does it do this? They don't do the Instagram stories thing, which for me was a huge thing because I have a lot of videos that I edit into that 15-second chunk. But all you would need to do is essentially trim the video up to 15 seconds of the shot that you want. So for some people, it's not a big deal, and others, it is a big deal. So just thought I'd let you know that little tidbit because it doesn't say it on their website. There's definitely a crap ton more like apps that you could use. Different kinds of metronome apps, different kinds of music apps, different kinds of like teaching and syncing and Bluetooth and all this stuff. I'm sure there are plenty out there that I didn't mention. These are the ones that I just tend to come across the most in my dancing, teaching, learning, and all that stuff that I have found super helpful. So if you have another app that you found really helpful, please, please, please leave it in the comments below because it will be really helpful to me as well as other people. And I'm sure if you thought of that one, maybe someone else has also heard of it and they can corroborate that it's awesome or not awesome. Thanks so much. If you haven't subscribed to my channel already, please make sure you hit that bell and then get the notifications when I upload more videos. And then also I teach online classes, bada bing, bada boom. So if you want to see more of this face, then make sure you check out my website in the description below. Click on it. I got several packages going on. Boom, boom, beginning curriculum as well as intermediate advanced.